The United States has a long and convoluted history with gambling. It may not appear that way, as Las Vegas attracts around 40 million visitors every year. There are few places people can go for the full casino experience, although that's changed slowly over the years. In the 1970s, Atlantic City opened in New Jersey as an East Coast rival to Sin City. However, even though profits ballooned at first, Atlantic City was never able to keep up with the success of Las Vegas. During the summer of 2021, Las Vegas looks like it's hit the post-COVID jackpot. So how come Atlantic City never became the Las Vegas of the East Coast? Vegas history breaks down into three parts: the industrial times, the Mafia times, and the age of Howard Hughes. Before it was the City of Sin, Las Vegas was just a stop on the railroad between Los Angeles and Salt Lake City. The town took hold in the 1930s when the Hoover Dam was under construction, and the influx of blue-collar workers in need of entertainment gave rise to casinos, bars, and theaters. However, most of these establishments were run by organized crime. Howard Hughes, a modern-age Renaissance man, arrived in the 1960s and began buying up property once run by the Mafia. He had the vision to turn Las Vegas into the tourist-friendly vacation mecca that it is today. Las Vegas is recognizable around the world, with hundreds of thousands of international tourists coming each year. On the other hand, Atlantic City didn't see its first legal casino until 1978, when New Jersey voters agreed to legalize casinos but limit them to Atlantic City. That's not to say that AC didn't exist nor thrive under the rule of organized crime either. Before it was the wannabe Vegas of the East Coast, Atlantic City was a popular vacation getaway for its beaches, boardwalk, hotels, and restaurants. However, organized crime dug its heels into backroom gambling and bootlegging. Prohibition wasn't about to stand in their way, and Atlantic City became known as America's playground in the 1920s. Enoch Nucky Johnson, a politician turned crime boss, made sure prohibition laws stayed far away from Atlantic City. In pop culture, Steve Buscemi portrays a fictionalized version of Johnson, named Nucky Thompson, in Boardwalk Empire. Vegas may seem like it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's actually at the crossroads of 4 interstate highways. No matter what direction you're traveling in the southwestern United States, all roads lead to Vegas. Instead of a railroad, Vegas sits right on Interstate 15, connecting LA to Salt Lake City. Atlantic City is on the east coast of New Jersey, which is a state that isn't widely recognized as a major tourist destination. Interstate 95, the major highway connecting DC, Baltimore, Philly, and New York, bypasses Atlantic City altogether. Yes, road signs and smaller highways will get you from the interstate to AC, but nestled in the state's southeastern corner, it's significantly out of the way for leisurely travelers. Atlantic City and Las Vegas are in the same business, the business of taking bets. Upon its inception, Atlantic City was raking in profits comparable to Las Vegas when you account for the size difference. In its first 7 years between 1978 and 1984, Atlantic City saw exponential revenue growth. The new gambling capital brought in $134 million in '78, cracked $500 million in 1980, and then exceeded $1 billion in 1981. Between these golden years, Atlantic City saw an average annual growth of 55%, bolstered by the influx of tourism. Income continued to grow slowly through the 90s and early 2000s, before Atlantic City peaked in 2006 at $5.2 billion in total revenue. But things that go up must always come down. Since 2006, Atlantic City declined every year until 2015, reaching a decade low of $2.5 billion in revenue. AC did see a brief period of regrowth for the next few years before it was ultimately crippled once again by COVID-19. Let's look at Atlantic City's best year, 2006, when it posted $5.2 billion in revenue. That same year, Vegas brought in $10.6 billion in revenue, more than twice as much. Yes, Vegas is much bigger, but Vegas has been posting these kinds of numbers between 2000 and 2019. Of course, with the beginning of COVID in 2020, both cities saw enormous drop-offs. You know you've got a successful business when the general public adopts and accepts a nickname for your product or service. Vegas's nickname, Sin City, is known around the world. That nickname can be traced back to 1906, when Vegas was nothing but a stop along the railroad. Blocks 16 and 17 were known for brothels, saloons, and illegal gambling halls. Fremont Street was home to the Union Pacific Railroad Depot, right around the corner from Block 16 and 17. Soon, the area became synonymous with organized crime, vice, and, well, sin. Atlantic City adopted the nickname of America's Playground from around the 1920s, again, thanks to organized crime and illegal gambling. Of course, America's Playground doesn't have the same attractive bite as Sin City. Even less appealing is AC's other nickname, Monopoly City. While we're on the subject of Monopoly, here's some lesser-known information that's about to make a whole lot of sense. After a handful of name and location changes, the original Monopoly game settled on using Atlantic City as inspiration for the board spaces. Properties such as Baltic Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue, and Virginia Avenue are all actual streets in Atlantic City. The best example is, obviously, the Boardwalk, Atlantic City's pride and joy. Even the railroads we've argued over for years were all tangible ways to get to AC in the 1930s. Vegas was nearing a plateau after a population and revenue boom after World War II. Vacationers flocked to the city, but entertainment wasn't nearly as big as gambling and fine dining. That's until Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack showed up in the 1950s. They set the bar for entertainment in Las Vegas and are arguably responsible for the future entertainment capital of the world. Now, Vegas boasts the biggest names in music, theater, magic, and circus. While Atlantic City does put on its fair share of shows, it's nowhere near as entertainment-driven as Las Vegas. Some acts with Vegas residency, a contract to perform regular shows at a particular Vegas venue, include the Blue Man Group, Usher, Chris Angel, and Cirque du Soleil. Even walking around Las Vegas is pure entertainment. The architecture is something to marvel at even during the day. Some people may not like to admit it, but Nevada owes a great deal to Las Vegas. Nevada allocates a significant amount of the state budget to fund Las Vegas, among other tourist attractions. With help from the state government, the Strip undergoes way more upkeep than Atlantic City, and it shows. New Jersey isn't a tourist state, not like Nevada. When tourists do come, many people are splitting time between Newark and New York. While Atlantic City does bring in substantial tax revenue, it's nowhere near the percentages that Vegas provides for Nevada. To put some numbers in perspective, the hospitality industry accounted for 35% of Nevada's tax revenue in the 2020 fiscal year. Of that 35%, half comes from gaming alone, and it doesn't take a genius to deduce that most of that revenue came from Las Vegas. Keep in mind, those are 2020 numbers. While Nevada is doing everything it can to prop Las Vegas up, New Jersey is letting Atlantic City crumble. The decreased budget put a sour taste in the mouths of would-be visitors. Atlantic City became associated with high crime rates and gang activity. Since 1978, 10 casinos have either been torn down or sold off to recoup losses. In Vegas, 13 different casinos have been demolished over the course of Vegas history. However, most of them were torn down to make room for new buildings, rather than financial hardships. Understanding the competition is an integral baseline for any business. The casino industry is no exception. While individual casinos are still competing inside Atlantic City and Las Vegas, they must also worry about ways to gamble outside their respective cities. In that regard, Las Vegas doesn't have much to worry about. However, Atlantic City is up against some stiff competition. Atlantic City relies on the dense populations in New York, Philly, and New England to drive tourism. Philadelphia is the closest major city to Atlantic City, but has the in-city Sugar House Casino and the Sands Bethlehem north of Philly. Meanwhile, New York and the New England gamblers can enjoy Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. Furthermore, New England has Twin River in Rhode Island and Encore in Boston to fill their gambling needs. The question begs, why drive down to Atlantic City to gamble? Those same people looking for a more extravagant gambling experience would rather head to Vegas anyway. Former President Trump hasn't had the best luck in Atlantic City either. The Trump Taj Mahal fell into bankruptcy and was eventually sold to the Hard Rock Hotel. Trump Plaza was reduced to rubble in February of 2021 after the sale of the property fell through. Trump Marina was purchased and rebranded as the Golden Nugget, and Trump's World Fair was demolished and replaced with stores in 1999. COVID-19 rocked the world through 2020 and 2021 and hit the hospitality industry particularly hard. Vegas saw record lows, and Atlantic City bottomed out as profits fell 80% below the 2019 numbers. Vegas bounced right back when restrictions let up, but Atlantic City is trying to make a slow crawl. The Hard Rock Hotel and Casino purchased the former Trump Taj Mahal in 2018. Of course, nothing is worse than buying a multi-million-dollar building only to be faced with a global pandemic that shuts down your multi-million-dollar building. The Hard Rock is looking to bounce back post-COVID as they sink $20 million in hotel renovations. Hard Rock President Joe Lupo hopes these renovations will enhance guests' experience and revitalize Atlantic City. The Hard Rock is looking to update 91 hotel suites, open a Starbucks, add brand new slot and table games to the casino floor, and a new dining outlet. Renovations also look to expand outside as they update the Hard Rock Beach Bar and add 1,000 new beach chairs. Nobody's saying Atlantic City isn't trying, but is it worth trying? New Jersey officials may want to examine how Nevada allocates funds to bolster the Vegas economy and drive up tax revenue to that 35% mark. While the future of Atlantic City is uncertain as the United States stumbles out of 2020 and 2021, we can all assume Las Vegas will be just fine.